Hello there, I'm going to share with you something which I call the Netflix analogy. It's possible to have an account with Netflix and every day to tune in to TV programming from America. Let's make this example even more extreme. Every day I could choose to check in and watch only American crime TV shows on Netflix. Or I could open up my awareness to realise that Netflix shows TV programs from many countries all over the world, from as far away as Korea and Saudi Arabia to as near as Spain and Portugal, and to many other places, the Lebanon. The list goes on. China, Japan, Brazil, Argentina. So it's the same service. The only thing that's different is the person's willingness to make more adventurous choices, or whether to stick with the known. And so this is my model to describe what's going on in the world today, because we can choose to keep our awareness very tightly confined to the 3D realms, to what we can only perceive with our senses, or we can choose to open our awareness. It's rather like having a radio. You can have the radio tuned to the same preset radio station and that's all you ever watch. Or you can choose to move the dial and encounter radio stations from countries you've never even heard of. So this is the choice that we have at the moment, us humans in our lives. And with all the changes which are occurring, one thing I can say is that the more you are willing to explore from unusual sources, the more interesting life becomes. I've come across a model quite recently which excites me, so I thought I'd share it with you. Now, we're all familiar with the conventional concept of the Big Bang, the beginnings, the origins of the universe. Very familiar, and the idea is that from the moment of creation, everything's rushing outward at light speed or even greater, and that is all there is, and that everything is moving from its point source origin into a greater and greater sense of entropy, a greater decrease in vibration. But what if what the scientists are able to describe in that way is only 50% of the picture? What about the possibility that this Big Bang is only part of a movement, and that underneath the surface there's something quite miraculous going on that people are not so keenly aware of if they're only looking at life on 3D? So they're only seeing entropy, they're only seeing the expansion. But what if when the expansion reaches its limit, it actually turns in? And maybe, how about the idea that actually underneath what's going on is the energy that rushes back to the source and forms not simply an outwardly expanding cone, but that cone is only a small fraction of the entire vortex of creation. So how about the idea that everything is continually expanding outwards and also continually returning to the source. That then gives us the idea that we are able to enter vastly greater realms of possibility and of consciousness. And this is a description I've come across for a word I've never liked. I've always felt uneasy about the idea of ascension, because I didn't like the idea of people just flying off and leaving the planet and being taken up somewhere. And I realised that that was actually my poor perception of what's really a much better description than the way that I see things now. To see that the whole of the earth, our wonderful, magnificent earth, is actually in its own process of ascension in its own right. And that's what the 3D to 5D changes are all about. And for me, I always come back to this. As soon as I find myself surrounded by plants and become aware of life, there's a spider just shot out, grabbed something to eat in its web and shot back towards the metal pole of the polytunnel there. You can just see it. There it goes. So, and that's the cue. That's my cue. The neighbour started with a lawnmower. All the love to you.